All right. What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having an amazing Monday. Hope you had a great weekend as well, too. I am very excited for the conversation for today. We're going to give it another couple minutes. We've got more and more people rolling in. Jenna Stanton, what's up, Jenna? Appreciate you joining. Aaron Wells, what's up? Let's see who else we got here. Zena Green, what's going on, Zena? Really excited for this conversation. I think, for a lot of you, Jenna, I know you dropped me a question from this morning about, advice for newbies to sales. So the first advice I'd have is to go read, you could go read, I think it was Jeff's first book. I'll let him talk to you about it, but it's called Sales Bible. And there's another one called The Little Red Book of Selling that I think is kind of a legendary one. So I would highly suggest you get started there. But look, I'm going to bring Jeff on right now. What's up, Craig Belcher? We've got Keaton Schlater. What's going on? Dan from Toronto. What's up, man? Wonder how cold is it in Toronto right now? It's probably really cold. I'm so glad I moved to Austin. I got to tell you, just like the Austin cold, it's like, this is like max that you ever have to wear. It's kind of great. So I'm going to bring Mr. Jeffrey live and Jen live now. So here we go. Boom and boom and boom. All right. What is going on?
We're thousands of miles apart, you should know.
I assume
it's
so.
A miracle of offices and cameras and computers were all on together. Isn't that amazing?
That's how it works now. That's how it works. Where are you two both right now?
We're in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, I love it.
And he's upstairs and I'm downstairs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So you're not actually, you're miles apart as in your levels apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I think that's a lot of, especially when you're trying to do the same conversation too. It's like, oh gosh, I can hear the echo or I can hear this.
Exactly. Yeah, we're far enough apart to where we don't echo.
You can't hear it. Yeah, I've heard you talk.
What? Just kidding.
Yeah, I've heard you talk before. You're like me. You can get loud though, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I am loud. Yeah. I didn't recognize you. I had traced you all the way around on LinkedIn and stuff like that, and your LinkedIn profile picture is like from your bar mitzvah or something. You might need to.
That's literally from last year, man.
Oh,
that's not from there's no
Jeffrey.
No, that's from last year, dude. I don't know, man. It's the COVID, dude. It just makes
is that what it is?
It's the COVID. I'm telling you, the COVID has just aged us all to a point where we're just tired. We're just like,
yeah, we eat well during COVID. I'm concerned about what's going to happen in the next month, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing, right? And I don't know how it's been in Charlotte. My wife's family lives in Wilmington, and so it's a much different vibe there, a much different vibe.
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's nice there. It's the beach.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. All right.
We go to the beach, but we go to South Carolina, more civilized beach.
Well, Wrightsville is a little rowdy. Wrightsville is like the college crowd.
No, we go to there's no one on our beach. It's amazing.
You don't go to Charleston to Folly Beach or to down there?
Yeah, but beyond that, Isle of Palms, it's so quiet.
I know Isle of Palms. Yeah, Isle of Palms is great. It's like a quieter version of Kiowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I know what's up. I've spent some time. That was one of the places that we thought about moving before we moved to Austin. Is we thought about moving to Charleston, but it was too sleepy. It was to live there full time because we were moving from New York. It was no, I don't think we can do this.
Wait a minute, wait. Real New York or bullshit New York?
Brooklyn. Real New York.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying we lived in upstate, New Paltz. Right. We weren't in New Paltz and
Well, you'd be surprised. People say that.
People say they're from New York, but they're from Rochester.
It's usually New Jersey people too. We've got a few New Jersey guys on the team, and they're like, "Yeah, I live in New York." I'm like, "No, you live in New Jersey."
Right. Jen's the same.
So I grew up in Jersey, but I pretend like I grew up in New York because it felt like New York. I was only 15 minutes outside of the city.
Yeah, that's right. In the Bronx. Well, all right, then if the Bronx counts for sure. Yeah. But then you went to Washington in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, WashU.
Yeah, I grew up in Kansas City, so I know Washington.
Oh, cool.
Very, very well. The Chiefs pulled one out last night, which was very exciting. It wasn't a pretty win, but no, that's cool. That's really cool.
We went to the Chiefs Tampa Bay Buccaneers game last Sunday.
By we, he means he.
Oh yeah, me and a friend of mine, Justin Benton. There's no more tickets.
The
if
tickets
it's not on your phone, you're dead. And so we had
how expensive was it? Ballpark.
$250 each ticket, and we sat pretty.
All right. Well,
we got them from an employee who knew other people that had tickets.
See, I looked at going. I was thinking about flying down. I've got a guy on my team. He's a Bucks fan, and but no, it was just ridiculous. I'm like, no, I'm not paying $800 to sit up there.
Yeah, so if the tickets were more than $300, we were going to watch from a bar and order $300 worth of food.
But you got to see Tyreek Hill in action, though, right? You got to see.
Amazing.
And
we got to see Tom Brady on his ass, which is a bigger thing for me.
We did do a good job of that. We did do. You got to see Mahomes and Hill. That game was epic.
I don't even like people that like Tom Brady.
Well, that sorry for all my Boston friends, because the Boston folks, they just can't. They love him. Did you just see it actually came out today? Did you just see Tom Brady? His TB12 got a just under $1 million PPP loan.
Really?
TB12 needed $1 million PPP loan. So that came out.
Yeah, needed it very badly, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy.
The Brady's, yeah, they do. So, all right, so back to sales. So what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us today. I have two really amazing voices in the sales community here with me today. We've got a lot to talk about. And for me, what's exciting, I actually, Jeffrey, I first got exposed to you through your cousin. Or not your cousin, your nephew, Evan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I worked with Evan at the Phoenix Coyotes 15 years ago.
Wow.
So that was my first. That was my first experience. Yeah, he's running stuff now. He's just up the road here in Dallas, running stuff.
Yeah. He's doing a real good job. He has emerged as an absolute expert at what he does.
He's a stud. Yeah, and I've had a chance to know him again, like from very beginning in his career to where he's at now, and our paths have crossed. Now we work with some professional sports teams too, so it's been fun to stay in touch. But maybe non-COVID, I'll actually get a chance to go face to face again. So I've been exposed to you for a long time, and then Jen, through this, I had a chance to review some of your content and your podcast, et cetera. So I'm really pumped for this conversation, and the way that I've teed it up is, both of you have been in sales for 15, and Jeff, you've been writing books for 25 years. And so where I wanted to start is maybe what's the same. We hear today a lot about what's different. Hey, sales has changed, sales has evolved. And I want to start with maybe the opposite. I put up a little bit of a post this morning about some of the things that I think have stayed the same around calls. I've seen are still extremely effective, no matter what other people say. And some other trends, but I'd love to hear maybe from each of you from, from book to book, as you both write, and as you think about this evolution, what have been some of the consistent themes that you've seen, that are kind of universal truths at this point?
Do you mind if I start, Jenny?
Go for it.
Okay. The things that are universal are still not followed. People take jobs in sales because they think they're going to make a lot of money, don't love the product, do a half-assed job, get fired or quit, and then blame somebody or something else. That's pretty universal. So you either love what you do or don't start or don't do it. You look at your enthusiasm for what you're doing right now. How high is it?
Super high.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Super high. Like, I don't even know. Like, what's the definition? I don't even know what that is, but.
Exactly. It's you're off the chart. And so that is a huge piece of loving what you do. Second piece is believing in yourself. If you have no self-confidence, if you don't believe in yourself, you're out. You're going to walk in and go, well, I'm kind of new at this. I don't really know what I'm doing. And the third is just having a social platform so that there's proof that you are who you say you are. Because, Jake, if I want to know about you, I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to ask the universe. So I go in and I Google Jake Dunlap, and let's see what pops up. And if nothing pops up, I'm doing business with a nobody. I don't want to do business with a nobody. I want to do business with a somebody. And so you look at belief, you look at social proof, and you look at loving what you do, and you'll be successful. You don't need a closing technique.
Yep.
Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to find the pain. My pain is none of your business. No offense.
All right, that's interesting. I'd like, yeah, we can dive into that. All right, Jen, and do you go by Jen? You put Jen in there, so I'm going to say Jen.
Yeah.
Jen.
So okay. In addition to what Jeffrey said, I want to expand on the relationship piece of this, because people want to do business with somebody, like he said, and I think it's the same. They still want to have some sort of relationship with the person that they're doing business with the salesperson. And I can give you a cool example. At the beginning of when all the stores were shut, I needed new Lululemon shorts, but I didn't need, right? But I couldn't go to the store. So like, how do you know they're shorts, or how short are they? Are they too short? Are they too long? Like, how do they fit? I have no idea.
Jake, this is a dilemma. I want you to understand. This is a global dilemma.
I understand how that works.
How will this make my ass look? That's the dilemma. Okay.
That's the dilemma.
It is. And so I couldn't try them on. And so Lululemon took the shopping experience and created a virtual relationship shopping experience. They said, hey, okay, we'll connect you with your shopping helper, your salesperson, essentially. Would you like to Zoom, FaceTime, or some other technology? And I was like, let's FaceTime. So we scheduled this appointment, and this salesperson gets on with me. She goes, okay, I saw you were interested in the shorts, so I put them on for you. I'm wearing them since you can't. And here, let me stand up. And she stands up and shows me the shorts. And then she asks me, where am I going? That I need shorts in April. And I'm like, I'm going to the beach. Where else do you quarantine? And so, we're having this whole relationship. And then she asked me a few days later to tell me that the pair that I wanted, that was sold out in the color I wanted, had just come back in stock. So like, she didn't just leave me there. She carried it through. And I think that is a universal truth. People are always going to want to buy from somebody. And the relationship component of it is going to get deeper and deeper, because especially now with people holed up in their homes, people are craving connection. They're craving it. And I know maybe that's a little different than before, but I just think that piece is never going away.
And when you think about that, and then what Lululemon did too, I don't know if you saw this, they went and acquired Youre, which is that fitness. So then now they can do that all virtually too, right? So you think about that, and this actually is a perfect segue, which is the flip of this. So what I hear, the same is the person-to-person connection. The same is, again, people want to connect with other individuals and people. And then I think, some of the things that you talked about as well, I think actually for some people might be like, I don't know if it's controversial or not. Like, again, like understanding the pain. I think like that's like a universal one, right? Like Sandler's like the pain.
No, it's not. No, it's not. My pain.
But
let me
think
explain something.
Become that way.
I would rather find the pleasure that we have in common
Sure.
than try to extract the pain that may be none of my business.
I don't
Because
disagree.
in this COVID situation, some people have lost a parent, and some people just ran out of toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to know where the difference is, and you have to approach it in a way that doesn't involve things that are none of your business.
How do you do that? Because I think that is the key, though, Jeffrey. It's like, I think so many techniques, and let's just call it the methodologies, like, again, like pain funnel, command of the message. That is, I think, and why I say I just think it's what's been lore, whether it's lore or not. Why do you think that is? And what's the alternative? And again, we talked about pleasure.
Let me ask you a question. What are the 3 things you love to do more than anything?
3 things I love to do more than anything. Oh, man. Well, my wife's probably not watching. So look, I think hanging with the family and kids.
Right.
Is Chiefs and football up in the top?
How many kids do you have?
2 kids. I have a son and a daughter.
Okay. How old are they?
6 and 2.5.
Okay. And what else do you do? In Austin, do you climb mountains, smoke dope, eat barbecue?
Eat barbecue and smoke meat.
Okay. And where is your favorite barbecue place?
Oh God, you're going to get me in trouble here. So here's what I'll say. My favorite barbecue place right now is probably Valentina's.
Okay. So if I'm in Dallas, I'm going to eat at a place called Hard 8, which is right outside of Dallas, or Meet You, MEAT.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Meet You is people that were disgruntled from Hard 8 and open up their own place. But we have a favorite barbecue place in common, and that creates conversation rather than tell me what's wrong with your business and what you really need right now. If I can start talking to you about barbecue or the Kansas City Chiefs or the piece of shit Dallas Cowboys, we have something to talk about that will lead us into a real conversation, a truthful conversation. And the more we like each other, the more truthful we are likely to be with each other.
Yeah.
Because when I meet a salesperson, I'm on guard.
Always.
What's this guy's objective? What's his motive? What's his capability? I'm Googling him as I'm talking to him. And people don't realize, salespeople are no longer, when David Sandler, rest his soul, invented Find the Pain, there was no Google. Well, guess what? Wake up and smell the Pop-Tarts. I'm going to find out who you are exactly way before you ever ask me anything. None of your effing business questions or the questions that you might find in common, those are things that I'm going to find out as I'm Googling you.
Well, also,
I LinkedIn Jake. He's like a big shit on LinkedIn, and you can't even follow him anymore because he's overfollowed.
Oh, I saw we connected this weekend.
Yeah,
you accepted finally. You accepted finally. Let's call it what it was.
Yeah, but I followed him, and because I want to know what is he up to. He's a smart kid, and he's on fire about it, and he's pals with Jeb Blunt, and he's pals with Mike Weinberg. Those are pals of mine. So we could talk about that if you want to.
I'm up for that.
But yeah, exactly. So I'd rather talk about things that we have in common to where we might go deeper with it and find a shared value, and then we can develop truth.
Yeah. And, for me, like when I think about the pain, I think about someone complaining, literally. Like they're telling you the pain. That's like a complaint. And complainers commiserate. And so it's easy to bond over complaints and pain. And I think that's why a lot of people teach Find the Pain, because it's like the easy way out. Okay.
Absolutely.
But creating a real relationship it could be lifelong. It's going to last for a lifetime versus forming your relationship on the basis of pain. What foundation would you rather have? And what's going to last longer? And it's just so, I don't know, when I think about it like that, it's so obvious to me that I'd rather have a relationship based on what Jeffrey said, the shared values, than based on our commisery.
Yeah. And we're getting some questions rolling in that are actually really good that dive into this.
Go for it. Let's see them. Where are they? I see comments.
You can see them. They're coming in the comments. Yeah. So we've got one here, and I'm going to kind of combine this. This is Keaton. What's up, buddy? And Aaron both have like a similar overlap here, which is like, how do you develop it over the phone? And I'm going to add in Aaron's kind of tweak, which was people you don't know, or begin to develop that, over a cold call, right? So obviously, look, you heard the first step. It's called Google. That's what every new hire, that's exactly, like we had a new hire start in July. I was like, before you ask any questions, Google YouTube. And then obviously with buyers, it's like LinkedIn. So let's say there's not a lot of things that are available. Like, let's just assume that their LinkedIn's like okay filled out. Maybe they spoke at a few conferences. What are some techniques or some things, again, that you've seen consistently? And again, assuming that you have those other things, you believe in yourself, you believe in what you're doing. What are some things that you've seen consistently, or again, it could be techniques or questions maybe that have allowed you to do that sooner than later?
Wrong premise.
Okay.
Value out, post value out with words that the other person might search for or be wanting. If I'm a textile screen printer or I sell life insurance or I'm selling cars, I'm going to find out the 3 reasons car buyers say no. I'm going to find out the 3 reasons people want imprints on their shirts. And I'm going to put that in my LinkedIn feed. I'm going to do a Facebook Live on it. I'm going to put a link to it in my Twitter, and I'm going to shoot a YouTube video so that someone might find it. That creates what is known as attraction, but it is not the law of attraction. It's value attraction. So if I am going to go out into the marketplace and look for somebody, I'm not going to cold call their ass. I'm going to wait for them to call me. Well, why
what
would
if
I
they don't have that luxury though?
Jeffrey,
I feel like that sounds good, but a lot of these, imagine you're 25 and you're selling a B2B tech product, let's say, and you're supposed to go. Now, I think you should do all of that 100%, but I'm supposed to go and reach out to 25 people a day or 50. Is
Why?
there any?
Wait, why?
I don't make the rules.
Because my boss told me to?
Exactly. That's exactly why. My boss told me to, because it's what his boss and her boss told them. That is the world that a lot of these people that are chiming in, this is their reality.
Way to
Not saying it's right.
Okay. So let's look at it from the perspective of, if my boss told me to make 25 cold calls a day, I'm going to make him or her sit down next to me and make 25 with me.
Agreed.
Because I'm going to try to be the best I can at this, but I'm sure Bob or Mary, because you're telling me to do this, you must be amazing at it. Let's sit down and do this together.
Yep. Okay. Assuming they do it well.
Huh?
Let's say that. Assume they do it okay. I agree. By the way, that'll weed out 80% of the people. 100. Like I love that. And again,
95% of the people.
95. What about for the 5%?
Well,
the boss sits down and you're like,
yeah.
You're like, oh man, my boss is actually good at this, right? What makes her or him good? Like, how can you? I agree. Look, I'm not suggesting, and we don't suggest for any of our clients either, that people reach out cold anymore without doing some of the things you're talking about. But
right.
Are there ways, like, and maybe it's in a first conversation. Maybe how about even they find you and say, hey, I'm interested. What are some things maybe in a first conversation? Because I feel like what's happening in B2B in particular is we are training the thought out of people. We're telling them the first call you do BANT, medic, medpic, insert whatever it is. And so I feel like that the skills around rapport building are at an all-time low, all time.
But Jeffrey demonstrated it at the very beginning of this when he was asking you questions and getting down to something that he loves barbecue. You may not know that yet, but I know that about him, that like everywhere we go, every city they have barbecue in, we have to find the barbecue place.
We would take you out to barbecue dinner, Jake. We could fight over the check and you could win. Okay, now, hang on a second. What I just did there was allowed you to laugh. There's no laughter in a cold call. None.
Yeah.
And if chapter 8, Little Red Book of Selling, if you can make them laugh, you can make them buy. And just by the way, the Little Red Book of Selling was born in Austin.
All right.
I sat down with Ray Bard at one of those Mexican places on Central Avenue or Centennial Avenue.
Yeah, Central.
And he said, listen, Harvey Pinnock wrote the Little Red Book of Golf and sold 1.5 million copies. I think you should write the Little Red Book of Selling. I think you could sell more copies. And he was right. And I napkined out 6 of the chapters. And 2 years later, the book was out.
That is awesome. That you got to remember the name of the restaurant now. I feel like they should have like a plaque or something like on the table.
Exactly where it was. If there's an antique place, and it's like toward the city, it's the next block on the left-hand side.
Austin's gotten big now, man. There's like it's when you come down here and we have barbecue. When we come down and we have barbecue, we'll also go to this Mexican place as well.
Okay. So, well, yeah. Just for me, it's like old time's sake.
I love it. Well, that's got to be interesting, especially I hope it's still there. So Jen, what about you? Jen, what do you think? So again, I want you to put yourself, so I'm a 27-year-old, a 6-year-old. There's even some people who commented, hey, this is my first job, my second job. And I'm supposed to do this. I got to get a paycheck here. Look, I agree. I don't, my boss, he's not good at this. I agree, but I need to be good at it. Like, is there anything that you would tell them other than like, don't do it? Like never do it.
I would say spend, a portion of your time doing what your boss asks you to do so that you can, whatever he's asking you to do or she's asking you to do, you can probably get it done in less time than they think you can. And we both know that. So get it done and do the thing that is like you're waking up and they're giving you a salary for. And then in the remainder part of your time, do the parts that Jeffrey's talking about. Create value attraction, post videos on social media, do live videos like we're doing now and have people engage in them. Interview a customer and talk about their experience. Like there's so many things that you can do. The other part of that is before I cold call anyone, which I don't anymore, but when I used to, and maybe I do every so often, but it never feels like a cold call because I already know so much about them. I've already looked at them on every single platform I can. I've determined if we have mutual friends. I've reached out to those mutual friends to ask for introductions. There's so many things that you can do so that it doesn't feel cold. You should have some sort of funnel system where before you even call them, you're sending them value. You're opening up that conversation with them online and hoping that they're going to read it because your subject line or your open line, whatever, is just so freaking awesome that it stops the scroll. But you're putting yourself in front of them and in a way where they actually want to connect with you rather than trying to just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm Joe Schmo, will you please buy my thing? No one, like, let's be real, like 9 out of 10 people won't even want to talk to you.
No, they're going to hang up.
I will tell you that in March of 23rd, 1992, when I first started to write a column in the Business Journal, since then, I have never picked up the phone to make a sales call. Every single person who has bought from me calls us first. That's number one. Value out, calls in. Value out, calls in. But if you're a salesperson and you think like, I don't have time to do this, then I'm going to give advice right now that every single salesperson can use from the minute they get the job and win in the first or maybe the second week that they're on the job and make a sale.
Love it.
You call 10 customers that exist in your company and find out why they bought and write it down. And what's the relationship like? Why they bought, what's the relationship? Did they do anything memorable? Those 3 questions. Why they bought, how's the relationship, did they do anything memorable? Okay. Then on the 11th call, I'm going to call somebody out. And I'm going to say, hey, would you like to know the 10 reasons why customers buy from us?
It's so repeatable too. It's so
doable.
It's so doable and so repeatable.
Some schmuck is given a script written by another schmuck who says, hi, I'm Bob and I'm with so-and-so lighting company. And I wanted to find out if I can talk to the person in charge of, please don't hang up.
Oh, please. Do you have a quick second?
Please don't hang up. The script.
Do you have a quick minute? It's now a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst. No, it's not a good time.
Oh, it's the worst. No, it's never a good time. I answer the phone. You better get to it. Like, it's now a good time.
I ask somebody, are you in the middle of 100 things or 1,000 things?
There you go. Again, you make them laugh. Boom.
Exactly. I make them smile.
Yes.
And so, you don't know me, but I'm here today. And don't ever say I'm not going to sell you anything. Just say, I want to provide a couple of answers to the burning questions in the lighting industry. And I want to make sure that you're, just don't use the word what.
Tell me more.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So what has changed? And then I also want to understand this Napoleon Hill book. So I did some research on him and it's kind of an interesting character. This Napoleon Hill. Let's do that first. So tell me first about what inspired you to kind of break out and do a book on Napoleon Hill of all people. What was the inspiration for that?
I've been a contributor to the Napoleon Hill Foundation for the last 15 years. Never charged them a dime for anything I've done. We do their newsletter every week.
Okay, got it.
100,000 people, the Napoleon Hill yesterday and today. We don't charge the Institute a dime for that. And that was the premise that I started. And then, so they found Napoleon Hill's first writings, and I get a call from Don Green. He said, hey, would you like to edit these? I'm like, yeah, I want to edit them. Then I went to Amazon. My agent, who actually lives also in Austin, his name I shouldn't really give his name because they'll get a bunch of calls and won't like it.
Yeah, make sure to do that. Make sure everyone.
I won't
make
mention
his name and cell phone number right here.
Right.
Right. It's Scott Hoffman at Folio
Okay.
Literary Management, in case you need an agent. But the bottom line is they put me with Amazon, the real Amazon publishing company, bigger than every other publishing company combined.
Not print on demand, like
Not
actual
print on
Amazon.
Yeah. No, I got it. I think you're past the stage of like
And
self-publishing.
they back the book and the audio and the Kindle version, and the book sold like hell.
So
I have my name on the cover of a book with Napoleon Hill. It's like writing the Bible and being pals with Jesus.
Well, tell people about Napoleon Hill, because I don't think I would guess the layperson does not know who he was. And I had to dive deeper because he also is like a controversial character, right? There's a certain group of people too that aren't fans of his, that put him in a different
but most people who get crazy, amazing success have critics, and
of course,
you know,
I don't know. Oh, people, listen. Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich. He actually wrote the preamble to this in 1917, which is Truthful Living. And then he wrote The Law of Success in the 20s. And then he wrote Think and Grow Rich. It was his evolution of writing. That's his opus. It sold hundreds of millions of copies.
Top 10 like ever.
You want to bust somebody's balls who sold 100 million copies of a book? Go, stay home and kick your dog. In the meantime, millions and millions of people have benefited from Napoleon Hill's wisdom because they didn't look at his person, they looked at his writing. You want to dissect me as a Jersey person, sold in New York, swears a lot. You can do but I have 4 daughters, 4 granddaughters, wife, 2 dogs, all women. All women, all girls, all the time. So don't tell me, well, you don't understand the female. Oh, believe me, I've spent 48 years understanding women because my twins are 48, even though I don't look it. And the challenge that you have in today's world is worry about who Napoleon Hill was as a person. Read it. If you like it, follow it. Millions of people have to their everlasting credit. But call anybody. Call Jack Canfield, call Harvey Mackay, call any modern master, and they will all credit Napoleon Hill. Jim Rohn will do it. So I think you have to look at this from the perspective of what's the value of it versus who the person was.
No, I think it's because of the book that you wrote. I just went deep. I've gone deeper to say, all right, so what are the pieces? Because again, his book, I think it's a top 10 like all time book.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich, I believe, is like one of the biggest bestsellers ever, especially in like the business and if you self-help, whatever category.
It is the Dale Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People book of Dale Carnegie. Those are the top 2 or 3 books of all time.
So when Jeffrey had this honor, so I had read Think and Grow Rich, and when he had this honor of writing, of what he didn't actually edit the book. He took the book and annotated it so that he could make it current for today's reader. So he opened each chapter with, here's what Napoleon Hill is going to talk about. So you can actually like really go deeper and understand it. And then at the end, here's what he talked about. And here's how to put it into your day-to-day life. Here's how to put it into practice.
Not changing any of Napoleon Hill's words. None.
Right.
Not one word.
And so, but the actual, it came to us with a lot of typos.
Yeah.
And I had to go through it and actually, make sure the words were spelled correctly, and because it was written on a typewriter and then transferred, and I don't know, the whole thing. So I'm sitting there. I mean, I wish we had screenshotted these messages because like here we are, husband and wife, and I'm sitting there in the bedroom, like going through the book for my 7th or 8th time. And I'm like, oh my God, can you believe Napoleon Hill said this? He said it in what, 1920?
17, yeah.
1917.
100 years ago. 100 years ago.
It's relevant today. I'm like, And then every time I read it, I picked up, it's really interesting. I picked up something new. I was either in a different place in life, like a couple weeks later, or something that I didn't go deep enough in or realize the first time around or the second time, the seventh, or I read that book 10 times the year it was being published, and the text messages between us were probably hysterical.
I love it. I mean, it's such a passion, and it's such an intersection of a passion with what you are like passionate about from a sales community standpoint. And so it's got to be just an honor and a great opportunity or break, to be able to do that.
It's unbelievable. It's beyond words. I'll just say that. And when, if you can align yourself with past masters, it's because you're a thinker, and it's because you have a reputation that allows you to do that. Jen's right. It's an honor. And, did I want to do it? Hell yeah, I wanted to do it. Nobody else got the offer. I can just say that.
Well, it's because of the value. You talked about this before. I think one of the most important things that I feel like a lot of people can take from this and some of the themes is you talk about value out. And what a lot of people, and I think in sales in particular, people struggle with is it's always value out with an and. Here's a piece of value, and here's like learn more or a but, right? It's like it's never just value. And I feel like we've forgot about the importance of not always asking, not ever asking, but so many people I feel like right now, and I talk to a lot of young sellers, and I feel like they feel like they're stuck in a rock and a hard place. Their boss is like, where's the call to action? Like I'm doing these YouTube videos, like you said, I'm doing this post, but I didn't talk about my product and my boss yelled at me, which is just, it's a very old school mindset that I feel like for whatever reason, people used to in their local communities in Austin or in Charlotte, like you said, you had a reputation for being the insurance guy or woman or the whatever. But for some reason, when it comes to digital engagement, we've just thrown that out the window. And we've said, if it's not a one-to-one, I can directly attribute this thing to a meeting or a lead. We've said it doesn't matter. And so we're raising this kind of group of sellers who, a lot of them, it's just misinformation from the day they start on the floor.
They don't use creativity. They don't use humor. They don't offer friendship. They don't offer value. They're screwed. The better thing to do would be go down to the city and apply for a job as dog catcher, because they're going to hate you anyway. You might as well piss off a little kid.
Oh, man, you're just going to be miserable. I just don't think people realize that. They get, like you said, lured by the money, and then they just get stuck in a career, and they're just like, that you're not an A player. Like, deep down, like you're not a student of the game. You're not reading the books. You're not trying to get better. You're not improving. And the other thing is that and I think what you were talking about too, is they let other people control their career path. I was talking about this last week. Like, you are on your own journey. A company is a pit stop. Now they should help you, but at the same thing, you've got to up-level your own skills. These skills that both Jen and Jeffrey are talking about, you've got to up-level your own skills. You got to go read the own books. Jen, I listened to part of one of your podcasts where you talked about creativity and productivity. And I feel like what's happening is we are starting to create less and less time for that. And then we're wondering why we're not seeing step functions and results, right?
Because marketing people only give a shit about selling their product, not about helping the customer. And marketing departments, I think, are going to go through a major transformation, the same way office buildings are going to go through over the course of the next 6 months.
Yep.
If you're not telling me what I can do to benefit me, then I don't really want to listen to you at all, literally at all. And if your phone is not ringing with qualified prospects, something's drastically wrong.
I just feel like in B2B, the issue I see, you're 100% right. There's something about outbound, okay, that makes people feel good. They're doing something, as opposed to there's something about inbound that I feel like salespeople feel out of control. So instead of understanding how this stuff just plays out over time and understanding what the word brand means, because I agree, I think we saw these brand marketers and we thought that a lot of it was fluff. So then we went full quant, if it's not this and this. And now it's like, guys, there's a medium here. You're right. You can't just talk about brand, whatever, that doesn't actually move the needle for your buyer. But you also can't just focus on activities that are a one-to-one attribution, because you're missing the ability to grow over time.
If your brand does not provide me with some kind of value that I perceive as valuable, then your brand is worth jack shit.
Yep.
So I tell people in marketing to take their brochure and a red Sharpie and circle everything on their brochure that someone would consider valuable and keep. And if the lid does not come off the Sharpie, something's drastically wrong.
That's a really good, blunt, easy test. And same thing could go for your demo, your sales message. If when you talk about your product, it's not, and earlier in our conversation, Jen, you mentioned these things, so I'm going to talk about that. Why are you talking about it? Why are you talking about these features and all this other stuff that nobody cares about? You care. You think it's cool. Who cares?
Right.
You're not buying.
Right.
Yeah.
You just like show up and throw up. No one's going to even want to listen to you. It's about asking questions and understanding what they need and then putting it in their terms and in their perspective. And I think, you're just talking about like the outbound and the inbound and why maybe people are fearful of taking the inbound route, of taking that like value attraction route, is because the truth is, with the outbound route, you can make 500 calls in a day and get maybe one sale and be happy with that because you saw instant gratification. And in our world today, we want things fast. Mm-hmm. We want, the Keurig machine because it pops out the coffee right away versus like the ground thing that takes a long time and grind the beans and all that. Like we want things fast, and that's what we're used to. And so, but if you don't have any patience to wait on the inbound piece working, I mean, I can almost guarantee you, like when you started writing in business journals, did you see like a response day one, or did it take time? Right. And so
I got lucky day one. I literally got lucky.
Well, you're unique. But, I launched a podcast this year and separate from our Seller and I show. Yeah. And I'm on episode 30 something now. And I'm getting people writing in asking if they can join my high ticket program for 2021, because over 30 episodes, I've established a relationship with them. I've given them value after value after value. Yes, it takes time, but having someone willing to invest, $20,000-$30,000 with you on a not even B2B, but a B2C basis, that's huge because they're getting to know you, like you, trust you, value the offer, the stuff that you're giving them. And so I would just say, like, if you're gonna do the both strategy where you do the calls that your boss makes you do and this other stuff, you're gonna need to have patience.
And that's why you hit it on the head early.
Because you're going to get rejected. You're going to get rejected. If you don't have a deep belief system, forget it.
And what you said, Jen, real quick, is just, you said it's and I think for a lot of people, I want you to hear that. Look, you have a job, okay? Don't sit there and whine and complain. You chose that job. So if you know what it takes to be successful, and I've given this script before, you go to your boss and say this. You say, look, boss, I'm going to do it your way for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to continue to do it, but I'm also going to try this other thing for a part of my time. If I'm able to do this and show you this, I want to be able to expand that to 3 to 4 hours of my day. Does that work for you? Most bosses are not complete assholes. Most bosses will say, yeah, that works.
That happens to be incorrect, but go ahead.
Well, I think here's the thing. I think most bosses are they want results. And so if you're driving results, maybe that's a better way to put it.
Right. If you're driving results, they don't care if you ever make a sales call.
Exactly. There you go.
They don't care.
Stop coming out of the gate asking for it. Stop coming out of the gate saying, I know my way's better. I'm not going to do it. It's and. I'll do your thing and then you erode it over time.
Can I respond to one of your listeners?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Keaton Schlatter from Nowhere, Iowa, calls on people, and he has a service inspection contract on fire and life safety. And I'll guarantee you that he has a dumbass business card put together by his marketing people that probably has his fax number on it.
Probably.
Got it? Okay. Or he could walk in with a box of matches that has his name on it, stick matches. And says, if I'd like to strike up a conversation with you. I'm on fire. for my business. Anything having to do with a little bit of creativity. Or you could walk in with a little bottle, and the bottle has a termite in it. And I don't want to bug you, but I'm here to talk about and
put the termite on there.
Do not remove cork.
These are guys, again, there's so many ideas like this.
Fun.
Yeah,
there's so many ideas like this.
Blown away by that. And Keaton is out there. Well, I don't know. I've been told. Don't worry about what you've been told. Figure it out on your own. You're smart. Don't do what you're told. Did you do what you're told when your dad said, don't do this? No, you just did it until you needed glasses.
One of the things that helped me accelerate my growth that might help some of your viewers is I was very fortunate in that I had a boss who didn't give a shit about how I did and didn't give me training. Like, was just like, oh, I heard you're good at sales. Welcome to the team. And I was like, well, how do you want me to do this? However you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a script for that? No, we just make it up as we go. Like, we just, like, not in a bad way, but like, we just talk off the cuff. And I'm thinking, like, he's been doing this for 5-10 years. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I have no idea what he's talking about. And the truth is, I could have looked at that and whined and complained and quit and whatever. But what I looked at it as almost like a blessing. Like, this is amazing. I get to go make this whatever I want, just like you do with your job. And I invested my own personal money into training programs. So I would say to my boss, hey, I'm taking off these 2 days. You can count them as vacation if you want. Here's the training I'm attending, and I'll send you my notes. And most of the time he'd be like, oh, no, count those as work days. Are you paying for that? Yep. It doesn't need to come out of your budget.
Yes.
It's I'm going to keep it forever. They're not, right? It's embedded in your brain when you get the personal development. Hi, Zoe.
This is the puppy dog clothes. This is the ultimate puppy dog clothes.
Oh.
And for salespeople that don't know what the puppy dog clothes is, because you're a millennial, the easiest way to sell a puppy dog is just give it to the people and say, take this home and try it for a night. And if you don't like it, bring them back.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how he's trained.
That's okay. Well, again, why not have the dog show up in every video, right? Like, that's another like small thing for sellers. It's like, I feel like people, there's a million, especially with video now. With the video, the opportunity to send a one-to-one video to someone, customize and personalize, and maybe they're holding up their favorite barbecue, or you're holding up like the opportunities because of like what you said back in early 2000s. Like, I couldn't find out anything about these people. I guess you'd guess based on.
Am I allowed to put a comment? I can't comment.
Yeah, you can.
No,
you can't comment in StreamYard.
You have to go to LinkedIn.
You got to go to actual.
So here's the deal.
In itself.
Somebody can type this in. Go to usehippovideo.com. Usehippovideo.com.
All right.
And you will get a great lesson. I explain it in my new book, Go Live, now available on Amazon.com. And
I was going to ask you about that next.
It literally came out last week.
I saw that.
Okay, so usehippovideo.com. I gave a tip today that will change the way you think about the way you communicate with your customers at holiday time. People go, well, I send a Thanksgiving Day card because everyone else sends a Christmas card. You know what? Cards blow. They're stupid. They're a waste of time, and people look at them and throw them away. No offense.
I save every card and love them. So
pardon me while I throw up. Okay. So, but if you go to Hippo Video and you have your customer list, you make a video about how grateful you are for someone's business and how you hope they have a healthy new year and that 2021 is going to be an amazing year and you're going to make personal connection with them. You send that video instead of a stupid ass Christmas card. That video is going to get watched and shared. I'll guarantee it. It will be watched and shared. And it's less expensive and less time consuming.
There's a really cool video going out now, and we've only got 9 minutes, unfortunately, but this is amazing. Where this company Ambition, they had this kid do a rap, and it's all about the challenges that sales leaders face. And that video on YouTube, and it gets a B2B sales pitch video for a sales performance tracking tool, already has well over 1,000+ views. Because this kid just did a rap about sales.
I'm going to give a creativity tip for cold calling that will strike you right in the heart, so we can leave with something of value. Is that fair?
Let's do it.
Okay. Banks go out and make cold calls they do a block blast or some stupid ass thing where a bunch of bankers go with a pipe up their butt and a tie, go out and talk about canvassing. And, I just wanted to say hello and leave you a copy of our brochure. What do you think the brochure costs? And what do you think happens to the brochure?
Oh, a trash can immediately.
Or shredder, if people are.
Or like at my desk, and then I look at it for
And let's say it costs $2.50. Because it's full color and it's got a little booklet and all that. And they do.
It's a bank, it's got to look good. Yeah.
Well, and they have checking accounts and they have certificates of deposit and they have loans, and they're all the same. Every bank is the same. They offer exactly the same services. If I'm a VP or I'm a loan officer at a bank, I'm going to go around with $2 bills. And I'm going to say, hi, you don't know me. My name is Jeffrey. I'm with the bank. This is a sample of our product. And I was wondering if you could take it back to your boss and let him know we have plenty more of this back at the bank. Same service. Now, what do you think is going to happen?
Oh my gosh, the amount of callbacks. I don't even know. Maybe 10
so
to
I
1.
I staple my card, or I paperclip my card to the $2 bill, and ask the lady at the front desk, "Would you like a sample of our product as well?" So now every cold call costs you $4.
So smart.
And you're going to get people in the office going, "I want a sample. I want a sample." Who wants their brochure? Answer: nobody. What did their marketing team, their brilliant wipe marketing team, come up with? A corporate color, PMS 842. And if it's not PMS 842, if it's 841, they don't want it. They'll reject it.
So true.
Like, seriously? Well, we have a brand. No, you don't have a brand. You have a pipe up your ass.
I love it.
If you remove the pipe up your ass, you might actually come up with a creative cold call when they go out and do these blitzes in the neighborhood.
Jen, I love it. Jen's back here shaking her head.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish more people would do it.
It's so, you're hearing it. I mean, everybody.
They have bags and bags of Sacagawea dollars in their vault that sit there that no one will ever use.
Ron says, don't forget they debated the color for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
At some companies, 6 months.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Right. That template, that palette. And so let's do this. I want to wrap up with both of you. What has, and again, I know that the book just came out. So everyone go check it out. It's called Go Live. It's literally, like you said, I mean, how fresh is this? Like a week, 2 weeks?
Yeah. The pages are still warm from the printing press.
Hot off the press. Okay. Yeah. We'll drop a link for it too. Make sure
it has big type. You'll really like it. It has big type.
That's what we all need.
Not the whole book. Those are just the quote pages look like.
No, there is some smaller type.
I saw that. So tell me, so let's talk about what do we feel is different. So the interesting part is it's not that maybe it's completely different. It's just the mediums have changed in the way that we do it. So maybe closing thoughts for both of you. What's changed and what do you feel like if you're in sales tomorrow that you need to be continuing to stay on top of? Like, are there trends or things? Again, we talk about this digital reputation. I think that is the most no-brainer. People are Googling your name whether you want them to or not. You can choose to take control of that. You can take control of it. And you can go to Google, type in Google AdWords search, and you can see how many people search your actual name, right? So there's that digital reputation. What else are you seeing? What else would you leave people with that if I'm in sales, and let's say I'm a more experienced seller even, I've got 20 years of experience. I'm a little nervous about this crazy new world. Like, what do you think the things are that I need to know to stay at the forefront of the game?
For me, it's just about making it personal. And yes, it stayed the same, but now it's different. You're not picking up the phone and necessarily calling someone. Maybe you're reaching out to them on LinkedIn, but no like sleazy, salesy kind of typewritten message. Send them a voice note. Let them know you're literally talking to one person. Don't do one recording and send it to everybody. I think you can even send a video message through LinkedIn now too. I mean, I can, unless someone's read my book and they're talking to me about my book or something like about me, if someone is pitching me something, and I don't go on LinkedIn a lot, I do Instagram more, but if they're pitching me something on Instagram, which happens daily, I basically do like the swipe, it's out, right? But if they take the time, like this one girl was like, hey Jen, I was looking at your profile, I see you're a sales ninja and and I wanted to get you this PDF. It was personal. Yes, she was soliciting my email address for her email list, but it was personalized and she gave me a reason to download it. She created that connection. And you can too, if you take that extra second to look someone up and give them a voice note, give them a video message. Don't just text is over. It's just over for prospecting, just text. It needs to be the and.
I love that.
So I'm going to leave you with this. You can either sell or attract. Those are your two options. I personally would rather attract. If I'm going to attract, I then must engage. And once I engage, then and only then do I have the right or the privilege to connect. So it is attract, engage, connect, and the glue is value. If there's no value, I am not interested in anything that you have on sale. I get emails all the time with lowest prices ever, and I just hit delete. It saves me a lot of time when they put lowest price in the subject. Then I don't even have to click on it. I can just delete it immediately.
You know it's coming.
So that's what I'm challenging you to do, and it's not that difficult. It just takes time. And right now, people are pissing away their time binge watching some stupid ass series on Netflix when they should be creating an engagement plan for 2021.
And again, and there's multiple platforms, whether it's whatever your medium is, whether it's you're more of someone who can write for Twitter or put out content for Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn. Yep. You can find that space for you. And the thing that I'll add on to this is I also feel like it's always been, and you talked about this, right? Making them laugh and stuff like this. I feel like right now, most people are sitting through Zoom meeting number 10 of the day. Your job in sales is to engage people, have fun, create. Like, I really believe that, and this is going to sound so stupid to both of you because you're like, yeah, no shit. Like, this is what it's. I really feel like the term of 2021 is digital sales experience. It's the experience. Everything sounds and looks the same. But guess what? If you meet with one of my salespeople, we send you content ahead of time that we know is tailored and relevant. During the Zoom, we share our screen immediately to start to co-create with you. I'm telling you right now, you've got to leverage all these tools and make the sales process interesting. Not so qualify, whatever. Like I want to get rid of these inbound SDRs. These people, they qualify. You qualify me. I said I want a demo. What is wrong with you people?
I think experience is such a perfect word and a perspective shift in terms of looking at how you're selling. Because if you're still showing up and just like, okay, here's my PowerPoint, like you lose people right away, especially they're in their home, their kid wants a snack, their dog is barking, their text messages are going off, their TV is on in the background. I mean, you really have to create that experience so that now you get their blinders on and they're focused on with you.
Gotta get you off that email.
Yeah.
So this is amazing. So look, thank you both of you. I really, really appreciate it. This is a lot of fun. If I come out to Charlotte, I'll hit you up. We're not going to be out there for a while, but when you come to Austin, Jeffrey, I've got 2 or 3 places to take you to from a barbecue standpoint.
How about tomorrow night?
Well, hey, I'm good with that, man. I'm good with that.
We'll be at the beach. But if you need anything, don't hesitate to call. We have stuff that can help, and we're more than willing to reach out to do that.
I love it. And everyone, again, take a look. We dropped a lot of links in there. Go check out the new book, check out the old books. Now, and also start getting involved with Jen. Okay. It's not all about Jeffrey. Okay. Like,
No,
start getting
it's not.
our content.
Listen, I'm all about Jen. I think,
Thank you.
I think you need to understand
I'm
that.
into
But
the content, you know?
Jake, I want to an invite back on your show in a week or two. I'm coming out with a program that will smash how to have your best year ever into the dirt where it belongs.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Cool.
All right.
You'll love
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Hey, thank you so much, Jake. This was awesome.
I loved it. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. We'll have you back. Of course, I'll have you back. Come on. But only if Jen comes too. It's the only
Jen will be there. Yeah, Jen will be
there. All right. Have a great rest of your week, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.